I gotta pull this one out right now,
bro. That's ridiculous, bro. I really wish you didn't show me that earlier because I really would fall on the floor
I know.
if I didn't even wasn't prepared. This is the kind of card you need to be prepared for, too.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
This is just so incredible. Like, first off, his signature is he has the most craziest signature ever in history. I mean, his signature. And then you got Freddie Blassie. Come on. Dress like him? Yo, WWF was ruthless back then. Like, can you imagine right now? And in the back, he's calling it pencil neck geeks. Like, come on, man. I saw this, bro. Honestly, you don't see many of these that are like graded. And I saw this on eBay. It was like $50. And I had like 20 something dollars in e-bucks. So I basically got this card for like $20, $22 or something like that. So, but it's one of those things like,
I mean, dude, it's so ridiculous. It's the levels of Freddie Blassie at this point as a manager. What I love about this, people, if you're watching the 5-Tool show, the great thing about the show is that we're all about sports entertainment. We're not even about the car. It's about everything, man. There's no bigger sports entertainer than Freddie Blassie, one of the greatest managers of all time. That card is ridiculous. At the height of like, this is like 1986, 1985. The the hostage crisis was still fresh in the minds of Americans. And here's Freddie Blassie putting on this whole thing, talking about he's Ayatollah Blassie. Bro, you can't even, come on, bro. Like, nobody's doing nothing like that now, bro. Nobody's doing things.
Look at him. He's just a Freudian white man with the whole ensemble right now. Like, just look at him. And he's dead serious. Bro, like, look at him.
Look at the way he's warming him up. And the Iron Sheik. I mean, talk about being a heel.
Oh,
that would be the equivalent. Like, if somebody in like 2004 was in professional wrestling talking about, I'm down with Al Qaeda, Osama bin Laden's my boy, death to America. Like, that essentially is what the Iron Sheik was doing at that time. It's ridiculous. Him and Nikolai Volkov. You can't, man.
Bro,
please,
you
man.
Remember, Nikolai Volkov would be in the ring singing the national anthem, and at the end he would say USA Tour, and he would spit on the flag and all that. And it was like, the fans were throwing popcorn at him, throwing shit. But like, it was so genius.
So check this out, man. I have I was going through these boxes, right, at my mom's house, and I found this. This is the original program from WrestleMania.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
It's insane, bro. And like, I got to show you some of the stuff. Like, bro, look at this first picture in the first page.
Nah, that is iconic right now. Like, you want to frame that right there and just put it in your room.
Ridiculous. The whole thing. I mean, there's so many legendary things inside this thing. It goes into the whole, Cyndi Lauper beef. I mean, that is just like, it's just absolutely incredible. Greg the Hammer Valentine and Junkyard Dog. I mean, these guys were like really pushing the boundaries on like racist wrestling. It was crazy. And then they go have drink a case of beer together after the place.
Just go get wrecked.
Fight, an entire bar and stuff. But it's crazy, man. But speaking of these guys, like, that when we were talking about that, like Nikolai Volkov.
Come on, man.
And Freddie Blassie. And I mean, like, just people they don't understand the level of
Freddie Blassie. Pencil neck geek. You would call kids like pencil neck. Like, that kid was just hard. He had the cane with the jacket. You know what I mean? He was on some Mr. Furley shit, but he was ill. Like, ill dude. Like, fresh with the cane. As a kid, I was kind of scared of the dude. He had like that hard voice. You're like, this old man will like knock somebody out. Like, you don't want to be around Freddie Blassie. Like, he was tough.
Freddie Blassie's like that old man that's just not, like, he's just the tough guy. He just happens to be old. Doesn't mean he's not tough anymore. He's just
like if somebody tried to rob him in the streets, like, he would like hit him with the cane and be like, you don't know what you're mad. Like, he would snap out. Like, you wouldn't mess with that dude. Freddie Blassie, classy.
Yeah, seriously,
Freddie
like, Freddie Blassie, man, like that he comes from that era of wrestling where, like, two guys would be like, all right, listen, we're gonna actually wrestle. Who it may be predetermined who's gonna win, but yo, we're gonna fucking wrestle
Yeah,
for 45 minutes, and it's gonna be on, bro. I'll let you win, but you got to survive the 45 minutes, bro. Like, yo, wrestling used to be real. Like, he's a real wrestler. That dude will really put it on you. It's not a game with Freddie Blassie, dude. Like, that guy, unbelievable. The whole thing, like, just
those promos, like, bro, there's no promos like the promos. Like, you could go on YouTube and sometimes they have like the edited promos, and it's so legendary. Like, just, you know, Roddy Piper or somebody, Piper's Pit.
God, dude.
Like, just like, yo, busting Jimmy Snook in the head with a pineapple, bro, and then pow driving him like on the concrete, like on some, drop the whole stage on him, like knock the whole thing, like stuff like that is just guys would be crying and shit like that. Like, that was so, yo, I remember when Andre the Giant flipped on Hogan and ripped his gold cross off, and Hogan was crying, like he was like, yo, it was legend. As a kid, you were like, yo, they just destroyed Hogan, yo, and it was like,
yeah, I mean, they really drilled it into your mind. Like, the propaganda was crazy. I remember when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and I was always a Macho Man fan because that guy's incredible. But like, yo, they made you actually feel bad for Ricky the Dragon, who I liked. I was a fan of him, but like, yo, you made me really feel bad. Like, did he really ram that bell into your neck 6 times and beat you down? And like, you're like with the neck brace, like, oh,
you got traumatized as a kid a little bit because you really did, like, yo, this like destroyed this kid's whole life. Like, I'm telling you, when they did that to Snooker in Piper's Pit, I was like traumatized. Like, I was like, nah, this guy's not gonna make it.
Yo, I remember when Iron Sheik took the belt from Bob Backlund.
Yep.
Now, I was watching, this is when me watching wrestling, the earliest of wrestling for me, but I was watching every Saturday. And Bob Backlund was the dude, bro. He's like this all-American dude's coming in and just fucking hem you up.
With the towel. He had the towel on his neck.
Bro.
Then he had Arnold Skolin. His manager was Arnold Skolin.
Bro, yeah, Arnold Skolin. That's right. And dude, when he lost, I remember watching on a Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock. He lost, right? And I was like, yo, that's crazy. He caught the camel clutch from the Iron Sheik. Then the interview with him, he was a broken man. He was like, well, almost crying. And me as a kid, I was like, yo, what's going on, bro? Bob Backlund lost, the Iron Sheik just won. Like, yo,
that's what I'm saying. It changes
getting into like the 10-year-old's head, not even 10.
Bro, you go to school go to school on Monday and you be talking to like the kids that like wrestling or Freud it out. Like, yo, I can't go to school today. It's too hard. This is bothering me. You'd be all weirded out. But wrestling was, it really was, bro. Like watching a battle royal, bro, I'd be a nervous wreck. Like as a kid, remember when they had battle royals, you'd be just so nervous. Like who's gonna win? Like wrestling was, WWF, man. Nothing like it. Like as a kid, like you said, Saturday mornings, I couldn't wait for Saturday mornings.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting too. Like we were talking about Topps being traded as a public company. And in the case of Topps, I don't even know if that's going to make a difference because to be honest, I don't think the shareholders are going to be any more greedy than the people who run Topps. Like your Topps is trying to get money. I'm not mad at it. Do it, man. It's all good.
Yeah.
But, in the case of wrestling, once the WWE became a publicly traded company, you really saw a lot less of like, yo,
lights
racist,
out, man.
Sexist, homophobic. Not saying that but like,
no, it's just
pushing those boundaries, dude. It's comedy, it's satire. It's, wrestling's like. Here's the thing, right? Remember when Ted DiBiase had Virgil? Let's be real. Virgil was a slave. That was the entire imagery that they were trying to give to Virgil, right?
Yep.
But that wouldn't be possible if Virgil didn't revenge him. It wouldn't be like, it would never work if they were like, yo, you see wrestling, it's mad racist. They got to do Virgil. He's just a slave for the last year. It's like, nah, they built up this story where Virgil's a slave for like a month. And then he beats the fucking piss out of Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Like that, it's all about justice, it's all about revenge. But it's still, especially in today's day and age, forget it. So investors are going to be like, yo. Yeah. And this has been going on for a while.
Of course.
Like, yo, be easy. And especially now. So it's unfortunate because we'll never see that racy, raunchy-ass wrestling.
DiBiase, do you remember he used to, I remember when he called some dude out of the stands to come do push-ups. He said, yo, do 10 push-ups, I'll give you $100. And then when the dude finished, he asked for his money, he just slapped him, bro. He straight slapped him, bro, like out of the crowd and just stomped him out. Like, nah, I ain't giving you nothing. The $1 million man, bro, like that. Come on, man. $1 million man. You had the most incrediblest characters of, come on, bro, Ted DiBiase. He was an ill dude too. Yo, the beach bum Don Morocco, shit like that.
Come on, dude. Have you ever watched, speaking of like, some of the best stuff was on a show called Tuesday Night Titans. That wasn't like for us in New York. I don't think we got that, but it was unbelievable. There was a skit, Don Morocco and Mr. Fuji called Fuji Vice or something, bro. It's out of hand, bro. It's ridiculous. Don Morocco is incredible, dude. Come on, dude.
That's right, because he was with Fuji was with Morocco. Yeah, the beach bum, bro. How are you going to be the beach bum? Do you remember that Freudian Italian wrestler Salvatore Bellomo?
Of course, bro. Yo, he was a fucking ill jobber.
Yo, this kid came in with the Italian thing with the stripes. He did the ill drop kicks. Yo, he used to get pounded though. He used to get pounded out,
bro. The hardest shit. I did a show in like 2014 in Brooklyn, and like these independent shows. A lot of these guys that were in ECW, whatever, they still do this, bro. I called a match, fucking Little Guido, bro. Remember FBI?
Blood Italians, of course.
Bro, to me, this is how I thought about the ECW. We were young kids at the time. This is like when dudes our age grew up to be wrestlers and just went fucking bananas because they're watching WWF forever.
Yo, that's
right. Sandman's manager, woman, I believe was married, rest in peace, to Benoit. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that whole thing. But I remember a spot where like, she got straight powerbomb through a fucking table. So like when you think about that in this era in like 2021, like dude, they were powerbombing women through tables. There was an old lady that got powerbombed through a table on ECW. Bro, I swear to God, like
Mike Awesome clothesline Francine. And she flipped over. And look, honestly, when we watched it, me and my cousins, we were like, yo, there's no way she's not dead, bro. Bro, she was like 85 pounds. He's like 300 pounds. Like he actually clotheslined her, bro. And I was like, yo, that's when I knew that thing had no limits. Like they weren't like, it was real deal. Like dudes are getting like fucked up. And I'm like, this wrestling's incredible. Like there's no wrestling like this anywhere. And they're in some gymnasium in Pennsylvania, like just destroying the game.
Wild shit.
And he had the great, what was the announcer from? He was awesome, actually.
Joey Styles.
Joey Styles
is an absolute legend. He's the Vin Scully of wrestling. He does it by himself. He stays by himself. And he did all those shows by himself, dude. That was like a cable, like not even cable, like public access. That's what, that's what that,
and then MSG picked it up as it went on a little bit. It was on MSG, but it was on late night. Like you had to watch like 11 at night. It wasn't on, but they had it MSG, but yeah,
dude,
Joey
my brother
Styles
put me on to that, and we went to see that on Queens Boulevard. That was just insane. I couldn't even believe it because that was the same time where I stopped playing baseball and I stopped collecting cards and I stopped watching wrestling. I was like trying to chill with girls and on my skateboard, play my guitar. And my brother's like, yo, you got to check out this ECW shit. I'm like, what? And he showed me a VHS of it. I was like, yo, this is mental, bro. What's going on with this?
Straight up.
What?
Like, what is it?
When we were kids, I know you remember, like, AWA, NWA, like for me, I didn't see that. I saw it in the magazine. I saw blood. I was like, yo, why don't we see blood in WWF? This is garbage, right? So I like trying to peep cable. When I was a kid, my mom wasn't trying to get me cable. So whatever, I peep it in the magazines. And then when I get older, I'm like, yo, really? The ECW is a culmination between all the wild like characters and all the blood shit at the same time and full blast. And you're just like, yo, what? Fucking Sandman, dude, Rob Van Dam, all these.
The only time I got to see New Jack wrestling like that was Florida wrestling. It used to come in some way on some channel, and I remember seeing Kevin Sullivan and all them crazy dudes, Kevin Sullivan and Abdul the Butcher. I remember seeing fights with them dudes, and I was like you just said, and they ain't doing this in WWF. Dudes are bleeding everywhere. They got barbed wire matches. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like. Abdul the Butcher was a straight lunatic, bro. He had the scars in his head. Like,
do you remember when that dude got electrocuted in that fucking match where they electrocuted him, bro? Yo, the electrocution chamber. Yo, that shit was mental. There's a doc with that dude, and he says the hardest shit.
He's out of his mind. Yeah.
When they're talking to Abdul the Butcher, and they're like talking this and that, and he's like, yo, I don't think you understand, bro. I'm not a wrestler. I know karate. I know jujitsu. I'll do whatever I want to you. That's what he's talking about. Yo, what is this guy?
Bro, the funny thing about Abdul the Butcher, they made him like he was from some country. He was like some country dude from like Alabama.
Like fucking Jersey or some shit.
Yeah,
no, that was Kamala. Yeah.
Kamala.
Yo, it's crazy, man. Like those, you'll never see those kind of.
Nah.
You'll never see those kind of characters anymore, just because it's like.
No, but I agree with you.
Fucking...
When you saw certain wrestling, I was always like WWF, but then I got to see the Georgia wrestling with Gordon Soley and Ric Flair.
Oh,
once in a while,
Gordon Soley, dude.
But like AWA wrestling, the only time I saw AWA was later on. ESPN used to rebroadcast it, but that was like later, not when it was like current. ESPN used to have it on. You get to see some dudes. You had the Nick Bonkwinkles and Harley Races. And AWA.
What a legend. AWA legendary fucking champion.
Larry Zbyszko. All the was it Rick Martel? I even think Rick Martel started out back then in AWA.
Totally. All those guys from Canada and shit. They were all in that AWA.
They started. Terry Funk was there. They had. Legendary dudes.
Gordon Soley, that guy.
His voice. You talk about a voice like you said, Scully. I can listen to Gordon Soley all day. He had his voice. You're gonna make me go pull up some YouTube videos when we get off just to go to sleep.
Guy's unreal.
Guy was legendary, and he carried himself like. WWF. I used to listen. We all love Mean Gene, but like Gorilla Monsoon, bro. That dude was so the shit he used to say.
Would you look at those shots, Jim? It's like, bro, come on.
He used to say the incredible shit. He used to say, back body drop. Oh, he's got sciatica now. Oh, you can't move. He's got sciatica. He's working with sciatica. He'd say the most incredible shit. And you'd be in tears. And it's like he would.
Right now at that lower lumbar area, he's in a lot of pain right now. He's working on that lower lumbar area. I mean, come on, dude. Gorilla Monsoon.
You just brought me back into Gorilla Monsoon. That's what he would. Oh, he's working the lumbar. Oh man, he's not gonna. Yeah.
There is a segment. You got to look for this, man. It's where I think it's the Hart family, where Bobby Heenan spends like 15 minutes of this match. And it's the entire Hart family. I don't mean the Hart Foundation, dude. I mean, it's like the mom, the grandmother, the uncle, and they're coming in.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been Gorilla Monsoon's like, oh, that's the whole Hart family. And he's like, is that what that smell is? And he's like dissing everybody in the family. One of the jokes that Bobby Heenan always does, which is incredible. And I don't forget which Hart he was talking about, but whatever your name is, he'll be like, oh yeah, Bruce. They had 9 months to think of a name, and they've thought of the name Bruce for this idiot. Like he guy
had ill one line. He was doing like he would abuse you. Yeah, he was doing a stand-up.
He was doing matches at 65, still getting in the ring. He had a few matches. This guy was.
Remember, he had the bowling jacket.
Oh no, maybe not 65, but 50s. Yeah, dude.
Well, one thing we forgot, we can't forget this. Texas wrestling with the Von Erichs.
Oh God, the Von Erich clan, dude, legendary in wrestling, man.
I mean, come on, bro. Mike,
still to
Terry,
this day, man, their influence is still big.
Oh, bro, those guys listen. And then you had, I think Fritz Von Erich was the dad, but I mean, those guys, the Texas, they had and they had like ill dudes down there. Ivan Koloff. I think Ivan Koloff was AWA.
Man. Koloff, dude.
He was ill. But even Texas, when they had the Von Erichs, they had those other dudes. What the heck was his name down there? The Missing Link. He was like a wacko dude, but he had like painted face.
I remember the Dirty Yellow Dog, Barry Windham,
Jimmy Valiant
was down there. Jimmy Valiant, yep.
Oh, what was the other guy too? Mr. Wrestling, the guy who had the mask. He was like the first dude with the Mr. Wrestling 1. They had Mr.
Magnum
Wrestling 2.
TA.
Magnum
fucking
TA.
Legend, an absolute legend. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
How about this? Georgia wrestling, when you had Georgia had Buzz Sawyer and Tommy Rich. They had ill beef. Buzz Sawyer was a lunatic. And that's when the Road Warriors came from Georgia wrestling. I remember when they first came, you had them dudes.
Dude, one of the funniest things about the Road Warriors when they came to WWE and they became the Legion of Doom or whatever. I don't remember if that is that right, but whatever. Mr. Fuji, he was started to rock their.
That's it.
And then even after he stopped managing, my boy Tony put me onto this. After he stopped managing them, he still rocked it, dude. Mr. Fuji is so legendary. I can't even get into it, dude.
But Mr. Fuji started from that Saturday Morning Wrestling when his tag team partner was Mr. Saito.
Right.
And Mr. Fuji's finishing move was the most Freudian thing. He would go in his pocket and he would pull salt out, throw it in your eye, bro.
Oh my God, the foreign object, bro.
But he had
the crazy
salt,
thing
and he
about
had this
Mr. Fuji
package of salt, and he throw it in your eye, and you'd be like, "Oh!" And then how you gonna have salt? Yo, they used to fight. It used to be, it was crazy. It was Mr. Saito, Mr. Fuji versus the Strongbow brothers, Chief J Strongbow, bro.
Oh my goodness, dude, bro. There's a match, yo. If you want to just fucking die laughing, watch this match. It's like a martial arts match or a kung fu match.
Dogs
between Mr. Fuji and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Come on.
And of course, it's being called by Jesse the Body, and he's like, "Well, I don't know about this karate stuff, but yo, dude, it's crazy. Mr. Fuji's doing karate chops." Eventually, Morocco and Mr. Fuji have this dude's neck inside the middle rope, and they're like choking him, and Mr. Fuji's like laughing, dude. It is the funniest thing. The amazing thing about Mr. Fuji is that he's so old school. He came up in a time where Japanese Americans, I mean, we don't even think about this now, but Japanese Americans were like demonized. They were put in internment camps, all this horrible shit that happened.
Yeah.
And he just ran with that gimmick. After the war was over, people forgot about World War II. Mr. Fuji kept with that Japanese, stupid American, like the whole thing, dude. That's amazing. He's not even from Japan. He's from Hawaii. He doesn't even have an accent, really. But that's how incredible Mr. Fuji is. He just like ran with it, like unbelievable, dude.
Fuji was phenomenal, man. I mean, Fuji, that's like my childhood, Mr. Fuji, bro. And he had those old chops. He would come in there with the tights on, bro. Come on, Fuji. That era was just, I don't even have words for it. It was so fresh. But like you said, it was the changing of the era was what, like when Bob Backlund lost, because like you had the Iron Sheik now who's the champion, and that was a turning point of the WWF, I believe.